Hi guys, welcome back to It's Kind of a Big Deal. I'm Olivia Bondi.
And I'm Jenna Horton.
Today we're recording episode 7. And my apologies that I sound like Oliver today, dealing with some strep throat. I thought Jenna dating a doctor would be handy, but it's actually not. He's useless. Just kidding. Today we're talking about something that's a little bit of a hot take, in my opinion. I'm going to try and keep my very strong opinions at bay so we don't get canceled.
Right, cancel culture.
And we're going to try and talk about some relatable stuff that I think is kind of really prominent at our age.
Yes, I was going to make that point that like at our age, it's a big thing.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the cost associated to being a guest at wedding associated events and or baby showers.
Yes. So like, I know everybody has that summer in their life. Like I remember my sister one summer was like in 7 weddings and went to 10 weddings in 1 year.
Our friend Kate this summer for her, a lot of summers for
That's
her.
her summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have a big family.
Yes.
And yeah, that can be like for Kate, she has a big family and she has a big friend group. So you're getting like the double whammy of that.
Yeah. That's why I don't have any friends.
It's great.
It's cheaper.
Eh? It's way cheaper not having friends. And I'll never get married, so you're good.
Hey.
I think that it's difficult too because generally when we have these expensive summers, it's an expensive time in our lives as well.
Right.
Especially in our smaller communities where people tend to like follow more traditional paths.
Yes.
Is, you know, you have like everyone marrying their high school sweethearts. Like I'm thinking about my sister and her friend group.
Yeah.
They got married in the same year that all 10 of their friends were marrying their high school sweethearts because they were naturally going through that like, okay, we've been together for this many years, we just finished school, whatever it is.
Yeah. You have all the events.
You have all the events.
Engagement party, stag and doe, bridal shower, bachelorette party, wedding.
So let's break that down. One friend gets married. Mm-hmm. They have the engagement party. Mm-hmm. They have the bridal shower. They have the bachelorette.
Stag and
doe, and the wedding. Yeah. One event creates 5 events, all of which require, I would say, at least $100 gift.
Right. Just a big financial commitment.
And then the wedding would be probably more than that.
Yeah.
And the bachelorette party these days, like you're not going away for the weekend to a cabin.
Right.
Like you're going away.
Yeah. Flying somewhere.
You're flying somewhere. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on people to not feel excluded. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about FOMO.
Yes. So just last week, I don't know if you'd say missed out, but I chose not to go on a trip, not wedding related vacation, but still I wasn't typically saying no to these types of events, but with a recent change in my business, I decided that I wanted to commit to myself and take some time to focus on that. So I declined the trip to Miami. And the week prior to that, I was checking flights quite often, thinking, oh, maybe I'll go last minute, see what I can do. However, I decided not to go. And the FOMO wasn't that bad. It was fun.
Yeah, like I shared with you how every time that I don't go to an event, leading up to it, I always feel a lot of FOMO.
Yes.
But then after, like I'm sure all week when I sound like this and I'm like dying, you're like, oh, I'm glad that I didn't go to Miami.
Exactly.
You know, like you don't have FOMO after the event has passed.
Yes, and you guys were really good to like FaceTime me and make sure I still felt included from home. So that's a nice little thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's start with the stag and doe.
Okay.
So kind of like probably one of the first events, I guess engagement party would come before that. Mm-hmm. And maybe something for an engagement party if you're looking to go on the cost saving side is just a bottle of champagne.
And that's the thing. I don't think I'm as against the engagement party as I am some of the other events that come after because the engagement party I think is like a true celebration. Right. And I don't think there's generally like a gift expectation associated with it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Right? Like, when I go to an engagement party, I bring like a card and a bottle of champagne. Yeah. Easy peasy, affordable. And it's like truly about like celebrating the couple.
Yes,
I think the events that come after are kind of like
they get inflated.
And they start to feel a little bit handouty to me.
Right. Yes. So engagement party we're on board with. And let's just mention that neither of us are married.
Yeah.
Neither of us have experienced this on the side of a bride or a groom.
Yeah, so we're really qualified.
Very, very qualified.
Yeah.
Neither of us will likely ever get married.
No.
But
and like if we do get married, we won't have like
any of this.
No, none of it.
No.
Only because I think it's tacky, but
right. I don't know. I'd probably do a bachelorette.
I would do a bachelorette too.
Yeah.
And I think also if we get married, it'll be later in life where like our friends have already done it and they might be ready for a bachelorette.
Yes.
It'll be like a mom getaway.
Yes, yes. And with that too, like on the flip side of that, I think that many of my trips in the past year, I was claiming as a divorce trip. And so that's fun too.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we can't really complain about the bachelorettes because we go on enough trips in a year that like, we can't complain about going on someone's trip for a wedding. I'm going on a bachelorette this weekend.
Which is why it kind of triggered this conversation.
Yes. So let's talk about bachelorettes quickly. I think that bachelorettes have definitely become like more elaborate over the years.
Yeah.
I'm going to two this year.
Okay.
Going to Fort Lauderdale this weekend for one. We're staying in a big house. Not going to be super expensive, but by the time you get there, and the issue with these like huge groups of people that you see these days that we ran into when we went on a bachelorette last summer was people won't split the bills anymore. So you end up going out for dinner with like 20 girls and then the bill gets split 20 ways. So if you're someone that's like a little bit more mindful when you go out to eat about like...
Or drink.
Well, yeah, how many drinks you're ordering and what food you're eating.
Yeah.
And like, you know, your bill might be $20 or $30, but you're having to split a $2,000 bill 20 ways.
Yeah. And I think for you too, even more because you're vegetarian, you're not spending $50 on a dinner for steak.
Yes.
Whereas like if I'm going for dinner, that's what I'm going to get.
Yeah. Me and Maddie are splitting like...
Edamame.
Yeah. Edamame and like a tequila, right?
Exactly.
And then I think everyone kind of also gets into that mindset of like just order whatever you want because like you know that you're going to have to pay for it anyways.
Just popping off. Yeah. And then with bachelorettes too, it's not just like the foods and the drinks. It's also then the events that take place on this bachelorette trip.
Yeah, and I think we need to normalize like, okay, you get invited to go on a bachelorette. Yeah, you might want to go, but like you need to really look at your financial situation and decide that like if you can afford it.
Yeah, and it's okay to say no. Just like the trip that I said no to last week, I think that it's okay to say no and your future self will thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So you might take a hit now and feel a little bit left out or excluded, but if you can't afford it, don't push yourself to the limits and not pay your bills or not be saving for your future because you want to go on this trip.
Yeah, absolutely. And like your credit card doesn't mean you can afford it.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay to stay home. And then I think as the bride, you also have to be mindful of like what your friend's financial situation is.
Yeah, because you could be different points in life. Like we were saying, if we were to get married, it'd be down the road and likely our friends would be a bit more established. Whereas if it was 5 years ago and you're younger getting married, like people are still in school and all these different things, you can't expect them to be dropping stacks at your bachelorette.
Yeah, to fly to Greece. Like,
yeah, like that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's craziness.
Yes. And if you do decide to go, you can make exceptions. So go and have some fun. But if there is a certain event that you're like, you know what, this is an additional $300. I just can't swing it, but I still want to go on the trip. Go and stay at the Airbnb.
Yeah, and normalize, I think, as a bride, accepting that not everyone has to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when I go on a bachelorette and it's like, yes, we are there to celebrate the bride getting married.
Yes.
At the same time, everyone has paid to be there and they're entitled to this vacation, right? It might be the only vacation they take that year.
Right.
So if they don't necessarily want to go out on the bike tour on Saturday afternoon and they want to lay by the pool, let them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
If somebody wants to stay out later and the rest of the group is going back home, let them.
Right, exactly.
Right? Like it's not, I think you get this like bridezilla mentality where they think like, oh, this is my trip. It's like, no, it's a trip to celebrate you, but like everyone is here to enjoy themselves.
Yes, I agree. Something with a stag and doe as well, like if we have a stag and doe hater over here. I think too, like there are different options for that. Like some people are doing raffles, some people are doing stag and does, and I think just spend what you can. Even if you can't make it to the event, just buying a ticket is nice. And a lot of times that's $10, maybe $20, and so you can do that on a budget friendly.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, my personal strong opinion, if you and your fiance make $100,000 a year and you want to throw this big elaborate wedding, pay for yourself.
Right. Not a fan of stag and doe.
Not a fan of the stag and doe.
Right. Yeah.
I still will go to the odd one if I absolutely have to, but I just think like we're not child brides anymore. We're not getting married when we're 23 years old. We're established. We own houses. We live together.
Yes.
And it's your choice to get married, and it's your choice to have the wedding that you're having.
Yeah.
And
if you can't afford it,
it's not a charity.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Enough said. I saw this funny TikTok last week where this bride was complaining about how little someone gave in an envelope at the wedding. And she was talking about how it's custom or standard that guests cover the cost of their food and drinks and their evening in their gift.
Which, like, as someone who's never gotten married, I don't even know what that costs.
We have no idea what that costs.
I don't know.
And you know what? Aunt Jean and Uncle Robert, they got married 100 years ago.
Yes.
They think that their $40 or $50 is genuinely covering that plate.
They're not factoring inflation.
If you want somebody to come in and celebrate with you and enjoy a nice meal and drink, you have to be prepared to pay for that.
Yes.
Like, it's not a ticketed event.
Right. It makes me think of, like, if you're getting a booth in Vegas or something and, like, you have a minimum spend. It's like,
Yeah.
no, this is not, you're not getting a wedding invitation with a minimum spend of
Absolutely.
$500.
Absolutely. Like, this, no,
Yeah.
it's not happening. So just invite people to your wedding that you genuinely want to have there. I think COVID did a lot of good in this space where numbers were limited, and, you know, you don't have to feel the need to Aunt Jean and Uncle Robert don't have to come to the wedding just because
Yes.
your mom says they have to come,
Yeah.
right? Like, now it's like, okay, I don't want to invite those people. I can invite some of my aunts and uncles or some of my cousins and not all of them.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that's like really good that's come out of COVID.
Yes. And you always say to me, and this is something that comes to mind often, is that if you wouldn't sit across the table and have dinner with this person one-on-one or as a couple, then they likely shouldn't be at your wedding.
No, and like as a bride, I don't want to go around on my wedding day and like meet people for the first time.
True.
Like if I've been together with my partner for a number of years and I've never met this person,
They're not coming.
they're not coming.
They're cut.
Or they shouldn't be coming.
Yeah. Exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And so then back to the wedding gift thing, just giving what you can afford.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, don't feel obligated
Right.
based on what the other person has given. And if you think that the bride is going to judge you for your gift, like you need to really look back and reevaluate, is this someone that I want in my life?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Take the pressure off of it.
Okay, I'm gonna take a positive note here.
Okay.
Baby showers, I think, are a little bit of a different story, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Then a bridal shower?
Then a bridal shower.
Okay.
So traditionally we had a bridal shower because a man and a woman were getting together and they hadn't lived together and they needed these things to furnish their home, yada, yada, yada. Now people just ask for like Yeti coolers and like ridiculous stuff that they don't need. Like you want that stuff by
Yes.
yourself.
Like a Kate Spade platter or something so silly. Like we don't need these things.
The registries, I literally scroll and like my eyes like exorcism roll back in
You
my
know what
head.
I hate about registries too?
What?
Something that is very new, and maybe COVID was something to do with this, but like I hate that now you go into a registry and you can ship it right to their house that day. Like you order the gift on Amazon and you have the option to ship to them or to bring it as a gift. And it's like, what kind of fun is that if you're just getting these gifts showing up randomly all the time between now and your wedding?
Another thing that I hate is now when you go to a wedding shower or a bridal shower, they don't even open the gifts there.
Right.
And I'm like, this is the most painful part that
Yeah.
like you have to go through because you went, you
Right.
want to have this party, you got to
Yes.
sit there and open the gifts. You don't get to,
agree.
it's like, oh, I'm going to open them at home with Robert when I get home. It's like, no, open the gifts and then Robert can come and you guys can go through all of your stuff together.
Yes.
Silly.
Yes.
Okay, wait, I'm back on my positive note.
We're going
Positivity
back.
princess.
Okay, let's go.
The reason I'm okay with the baby shower is like you are having your first child. It is definitely exciting. You're welcoming the baby. You don't have a baby and you need things.
Yeah, you have
And I think
nothing.
it comes back to like the whole concept of like why we had these showers in the first place, right? Is like why would we have the bridal shower to get the couple ready for
Their new home,
their
their
new
new
home, their
life.
marriage, their life.
Yes.
Why are we having a baby shower? Because you
new.
need baby things. It's new.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with the baby shower. I also love babies, so I will gladly give you a cute little gift for your baby.
Right.
And I also will not roll my eyes at your registry because you need all those things.
Yes, yes. I don't think I know many people, maybe anyone, who is now getting married prior to living together. I can't think.
In my entire life, I've never been to a shower.
Right. It's just not a thing anymore.
No, it's not a thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, not in our circle. I'm sure it is in some circles.
True, true. Different crowd.
And I think like I don't want to like squash like the excitement of these events with like the way that I feel about them, and I like constantly try to like shake this and go into it with a better outlook. And right now I think I'm just overwhelmed with like the amount of
Events?
events.
And costs
I was going to say
associated.
handouts, but I'm going to say events.
Okay.
The amount of events that are going on in this era of my life.
Yeah.
But there's so many alternative options to like have a celebration if you genuinely like, I just got engaged. I want to have a party.
Yeah.
Invite all the people you love. No gifts. What are some other examples?
Yeah, some other examples, like just, no gifts is big.
Pick a charity.
Absolutely. So if you have a charity that of your choice, like something that means something to you, then rather than taking a gift for yourself, then asking people to bring money to donate to that charity.
Yeah.
You supply the food, you supply the drinks, and you just want to be celebrated, and then you're doing it for a good cause as well.
Yeah, I think that's very, very classy to do. You could do any of those events. You could even do a stag and doe if you wanted.
Yeah. If you're into that.
And make it classy.
I agree. Yeah, and then on the baby shower note, something that my cousin did, which I thought was really
so
nice.
cute.
Yes, I love this. She had just one item that she wanted to buy for her kid, and it was maybe like $200, like really not an expensive gift. So she just kind of said, like, bring what you can towards this gift, and then please bring a book with a message to the baby. So that was really nice, really affordable, and mindful to everybody's financial situation.
Yeah, and everyone still comes together and celebrates, but it's like doesn't become this like this thing.
Yes, exactly. It takes the pressure right off of it. So there's lots of different creative options if you still want to have these events and be celebrated and celebrate the people you love without making it a big financial commitment.
Yeah, and I think it's just like consumerism as a whole has just like turned all of these events into something that like should be about celebrating love, and people just get so like tunnel vision on like what can I gain from this?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And like even I'll have first-time home buyers that will be like anticipating the money that they're going to get from their wedding for like home renovations. Like I've had clients say that to me before, like, oh, well, we're going to have like an estimated 30 grand profit from the wedding. And I'm like, when did weddings become a money-making event?
Right. Like, let's just celebrate the love. I love love. Let's just celebrate that.
Let's celebrate love.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the doom and gloom.
The rant. But
that's my
how we're
rant.
feeling.
And like, if you really want to hear what I have to say, just ask me anytime. I'll give it to you.
And she'll pop off.
I will pop off.
Yeah. I think overall, it doesn't need to be doom and gloom. It's just like spend what you can, give what you can, go to the events that you can do, but make sure you're being mindful of your future self and your current financial situation, and don't overdo it.
Yeah, don't stretch it out too thin.
Yeah.
Because if these people love you and if you love them, that's all that matters. Like all I want when I do get married is like the people that I love just celebrating with me and going back to the core value of what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, that's it for this week.
Okay.
See you next time.